Deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, shoulder roll. Reverse. And sana. Okay, press, release, exhale, inhale. And sana. Deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, wrists. Reverse. Okay, lower hook. Palms down, bigger circle. And stop. Okay, shake it out. Side to side. Okay, Sana. And Sana, insert the needle. Switch. And Sana. Shake it out. Okay, gonna do the leg swing. Okay, Sana. Switch. Okay, Sana. Side to side. Okay, switch. And Sana. Shake it out. Deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, silk grilling. Switch. Okay, cross, open and close. switch. Okay, center. Circular movements. Okay, lower hoop. Shoulder height. Elbows down. Palms down. Extend. Okay, deep breathing, inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Okay, diagonal flying. Switch. Okay, cloud hands. Okay, center. Lift up, carry tiger to the mountain. Center, infinity sign. Form your fists. palms together. Strum the lute. Turn, draw the bow. Okay, fan to the back. Okay, raise the hand. Okay, deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, one more. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, we'll go through the sequence. Anybody? Music. Okay, ready? Feet parallel. Deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. We'll try it again. Ready? breathing. Inhale. Okay, good. So when you, after you embody the form, memorize it, you can get through it, then you slow it down so that you can begin to experience the feeling of the movement, separating the leg work from the upper body and then bringing it back together. The shifting of the weight becomes critical because you have to support your weight over each leg one at a time. So that's your lower, your half. That's your leg work, hand, eye, body, waist, and stance. So the stance is your leg work. And in leg work, you have the formation, the stances, the empty stance, which is this, the forward archer stance or the leaning position. Then you have your horse stance. You have your feet together position where they're sort of like this, and there's a couple of 3 inches between the feet. Then you have your shoulder width stance. So those are the positions your feet have to memorize as a width and so forth. And then the lower half, you have your hips, you have your ankles, you have your knees, and they form angular positions. So those are the sort of the static positions, the postures, the leg posture. Then the upper body, which we focus a lot on in the beginning, is all the triangles, the circles, and the squares, right? So those are joint angle positions. And then as we begin to build that muscle memory from holding and going through these drills, we develop the patterns. The carry tiger to the mountain movements, where they cross, where they end up, and how you transition through from the lower to the upper, from the upper to the lower. We start to build the vertical line. Then when we go directionally, we have twisting and turning. So that's your spine, it's your shoulders as upper body, lower body, it's the hips and the feet. So all of those take you into directions. So when you're twisting right to left, the shoulders will rotate. When you go forward and back, you get this experience of the body feeling like it's going forward and backwards as if it was being either pulled from the back or contracting in the front. So that's rounding and hollowing and emptying. So that integration of body becomes something that happens over time because your body will start to actually your body is compensating all the time. It's compensating because you'd tip over if you didn't. When we lift our hand up, there's a change in body configuration, so your center masses change. But we don't detect that normally because it just happens. But when we lift our hands, actually the body, if you relax it from the ankles up, will actually be sort of floating and compensating for the change. And the way to detect that is in the soles of your feet. You can feel the gentle change in the soles of your feet by what it's doing to maintain the structure and the amount of strength it takes to kind of adapt. So that sensitivity is the idea of using your mind and no strength. See, no strength doesn't mean no strength, it means the correct amount of strength. So it's very light. And the reason why we move in this type of motion where it's very light is because we don't want to use strength, but we want to activate and recreate the motion by letting the mind direct it in this sequence of events. Now, as an example of tension, all it is creating stiffness. So the musculature will tense, and you can feel that it's somewhat hard and stiff because the muscle is contracting. But the thing is, you don't want that to be there. You want to get rid of that and start from sort of zero and create the motion as a cycling. So that's really the building blocks of these movements. And the building blocks of those movements are actually from the neurons and what you're doing up in the brain as a format. So everything that we're doing is conditioning and recreating the motion so we have the right pattern, the direction of movement, and also the intrinsic energy that's required to make that movement happen. Now when we go into positions, we want to have structure, not just flaccid movement that's kind of waving in space and there's no rhyme or reason to how the body is moving. So because movements are directional and they have force, like a vector should be directional, the difficulty what we do is that it's multi-directional. So each part of your body actually has its individual direction of movement, but when combined together it creates a pattern that's three-dimensional. So that's hard to capture because so much has to go on in here for that to happen. So then structural integrity. What is structural integrity? It's using your skeleton the way it's designed to move and creating sort of the positions to give it the optimum body mechanics. So when you actually lift and you relax, then the wrist actually is slightly curved here. So when you lift, it's actually as if the intent is here and the force is going up. Now if your fingertips are straight and they're rigid, then you don't feel the rising of that movement. You feel the tension, the energy at the tip of your finger. But if you have this going up like this and it starts to gently round, that ties into the direction of your movement because the circle is like this. So the lifting of the arm starts to create. Now when you feel that, you feel like your body's going backwards, right? Then you feel like you're coming forward. So that creates the circular motion. But because we're tying the wrist, the elbow, the shoulder to the lower body, which is upper-lower coordination, when you start to round out here, then the body starts to round. That means hollowing the chest, the spine starts to curve. But when the spine starts to curve, so do the knees start to bend. But when the knees bend, your ankles have to release so the knee goes forward, and then you're in this vertical position. Then you have the vertical line as you expand, you see. So that's the opening movements. You see, the body has to connect to that until you start to move. Then you release, and then you start to shift, and you shift. Now you have right to left, you have side. So going back to this direction, the body shifts. So when we sink and we're in this position, then the body starts to integrate. So with the joints relaxed, then there's a compensation of what has to happen between the two sides. So we move, and then the foot starts to pivot, and we shift, and we shift, and we reset the center and start to move. You soon realize that it's not just arm movement, and that it's the whole body's moving. Okay, so these are concepts that you have to house as information in here to eventually train your body to understand what the physical movement looks like. So that's what, that's a time factor and frequency factor of how long you do it, because as creatures of habit, if we don't do it, nothing happens. We can think it through, but that's just trying to get a general understanding. So to do this and get the experience, it has to be a hands-on thing. So you have to, it's like whatever you do with your hands to do something, when you feel it, it's different. This is virtual, so when you feel it, it's very hard to experience initially because the body doesn't know what it's looking for. So that's generally what's happening. Now, because we're moving right to left, and forward and back. In order to soften the hands and the arms, you have to soften the legs and the body. So that means to create a coordinated motion where there's the right give and take. Now, if I'm going right to left with my hands, this becomes isolated and not directed correctly. This becomes the two sides working together. There's some coordination. Now you build the right to left movement with the right to left turn. So once your hands are in position, you start to move the body, or you sometimes have to move the body first and then move the hand, so that there's less hand movement, but still creating the same look in space, but you're not actually moving the hands in this sort of not dominant, but anticipation. When you anticipate this movement, then the hand begins to wag the dog, or the tail wags the dog. You want the body to move, and once it's in position, you move. It's more apparent in the cloud hands. So that's what we're trying to do, is get the body to create the motion, and the patterns just sort of defined in space, just like your fingers is moving like this. But you can see the line. When it goes down and up, your body will over time constantly compensate for that change in experience, and when that happens, you become more astute. The body builds intelligence. So let's go to, that's theoretical. You can do that with the Tai Chi Paradigm. In the long form, it's more sequence, but with long form, it's harder to capture immediately because it's long and there's a lot more complex motions there. So that's something to house here and think about when you practice. When you slow it down, you're looking for that. All right, so let's go to the long form for sequence, and Joanne, because you can stay and just follow along, because mine is not here this morning. So. Strum the lute and close the door. So this is just like the Tai Chi Paradigm form. Form the fists and punch. Divert, block, and punch. Cross the arms. Leopard and tiger springs to mountain. Okay, here's the first carry tiger to the mountain. Cross hands. Oblique, brush, knee, and push. (180-degree turn), brush, knee, push left. So this is the difference there's these add-on directional movements. Grasp the sparrow's tail. So these are your corner movements, and you end up in the front right corner. Single whip oblique. Then you turn, pivot all the way around. Fist under elbow. Repulse the monkey. Carry tiger to the mountain. Twist step. Go into the horse stance. Spiral down to hold the ball. Diagonal flying, and we step up. Raise the hand, bend from the waist. Stork flaps wings. Then we turn. One brush knee. Insert needle. Step up, fan to the back. Turn. Stroke down, parry and punch. Step backwards, retreat. Divert, block and punch. Step up, grasp the sparrow's tail. Single whip. So that's the first section of the long form. And it begins in the first set of cloud hands. The next section, which is the kicks. Set it up, high pat the horse. Instep kick, right side. High pat the horse. Left instep kick, turn. Left heel kick. And then followed by brush knee, push right. Go to the left side, brush knee, push left. Back to neutral, go forward. Essentially the same transition as brush knee, but we changed the palm to a planting punch. We turn, parry and punch. That's your back fist. We set up again. Do the same movements as we did with the first kick, which is high pat the horse, cross hands, and we turn to the left corner. Open the stance, cross behind. Stay on that oblique line, facing the corner. And then we go to the front left corner. Draw down, go to the rear corner, and form beat. This is right heel kick to 2 punches to the ear. Put the left hand on top. We flip the hands over, fold the elbows, parting leg. Turn 360, pedal step. Reverse the hands. Left hand's on top, fold. Parting leg. Parry and punch. Step up, form the fist, and punch. Divert, block, and punch. Cross the arms, leopard and tiger, springs to mountain. Second, now here we're going to go to carry tiger to mount again, the second time doing this. Cross the arms. Second set of obliques. Sit back, go forward, turn to the left, wind up the waist, unwind the waist, and you turn. Go to the right side, grasp the sparrow's tail, and we turn to the front. Hook your wrists, hold the ball, reverse the ball. Diagonal flying right side. Part the horse's mane 5 times. And we step up. Left side, stroke down, part the horse's mane. Step up, stroke down, part the horse's mane. Cross corner. Jade lady work shuttle 4 times in each corner. We have these movements. This is your left. We'll go to the right. Pivot all the way around. Double step. Forward. Back. Forward. Part the horse's mane in this corner. Then we cross over to the back corner. Turn. Grasp the sparrow's tail. Hook your wrists. Back to single whip. We have a second set of cloud hands. Hook your wrists, single whip. Then we're going to go to the first downward posture. Snake sticks out tongue. Invert the hands and pull down. Golden cockerel, we worked on this last class. Step down and kick and poke and pull back. Reverse the stance, and we're going to repeat the repulse the monkey and that whole sequence till we get to the new movements after the third set of cloud hands. Okay, so then we carry tiger to the mountain with the twist step. Open the stance. Once that happens, we go into the next section where we repeat the insert needle. One brush knee, insert needle, fan to the back, turn, parry, and punch, and we step up to form the fist. divert, block, and punch. Grasp the sparrow's tail. The single whip. Third set of cloud hands. To single whip. Okay, now we pivot and turn. Set up for the first palm strikes face. 180-degree turn to the single lotus kick. Left side brush knee and push. Set up just like they did the planting punch, but we're going to change the elbow position to do a straight 45-degree punch down to the crotch. Step up to grasp the sparrow's tail. Hook your wrists, back to single whip. Second downward posture. Pull down. Cross hands or 7-star. Turn to ride the tiger. Palm strikes face, left. Turn, change to palm. Double lotus kick. Draw bow to shoot tiger. Step up. Second set of palm strikes face. Turns to parry and punch. We step up to set up. High pat the horse. Pass through left and right vertical elbow to grasp the sparrow's tail. Hook your wrists, back to single whip. Hold and reverse the ball for the second time. Diagonal flying right, second time, and close the form. Okay, deep breathing. So there's a bit of logic to the form and the sequence. Essentially, you're doing the form 2 times, a few different transitions, mainly footwork directionally. But it does make sense after a while. Why the sequence is formatted the way it is. See, a lot of traditional form have similar movements, similar names. Doesn't matter if it's Tai Chi or Kung Fu. But the thing is, what they created back, in the ancient times is actually the routine and the mapping of the form. And there was a logic to how they were thinking. So the reformatting of form where people choreograph like dance is not really a good thing to do on a traditional level, because there is a rhyme and a reason for why they were thinking like that. You notice insert needle, fan through the back, a lot of those movements, they're grouped together. When you break up that grouping, it changes the whole purpose of the motion. So, when you're moving right to left, so there is, all the traditional forms that we do even in the Kung Fu, we call them pillar forms. Those pillar forms, we don't try to modify them, or I don't modify them, because if you're preserving the traditional art, you have to maintain the integrity of that sequence. Just like, music, you have the classical music pieces that they don't change those. Maybe the musician might give it a little bit of a take, but the thing is, it's essentially the same, So classical forms that we do, we try to, consistently save that. Now, with performances, you can kind of modify things because of time restraints. But on a traditional level, we try to preserve the integrity, which includes the breath, the movement, all that stuff. All right, ready? Bow. Salute. What's that?
What kind of anti-fogger do you use in classes?